Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our SEUNGWOO career mode here after a bit of a break, sadly, that I did have to take from YouTube. I know I did kind of talk about it a little bit last week that this past weekend was my birthday weekend, so I ended up going out celebrating for that. It was my 21st. I am in America, so, drank a little bit, had a good bit of time, but we are back here just trying to get back into the swing of things. As I'm recording this episode, it is Tuesday. This episode may not go up until Sunday because next week is actually my spring break. As you guys see, I get scored on by Real Betis, but I'll get into the gameplay here in a second. But these episodes will probably be going up whenever I am out of town. So while I am in town, I'm probably just going to stream on YouTube. You guys will see whenever I go live. I'll be doing that every day and just recording, getting ready for my next break, I guess, that I'm going to have to take because I'm going to be out of town. But after that, we'll be back into the swing of things. We'll have episodes up every day. We'll get back into the daily upload schedule. SEUNGWOO has been the career mode I've been having the most fun with, so we're definitely going to be doing that for the next foreseeable future, at least. Here in this game against Real Betis, as you guys see, I actually decided to play with the entire team here because, I have been having some struggle with playing with this team in previous episodes, so I figured I'd go ahead and give it a shot. If they're going to keep giving me these really weak lineups, I can't trust the computer to do what I need them to get me opportunities to score goals. And in this game, it put me in a really bad spot, and at that point I realized, okay, I can't be doing this with this team. It's not working. I don't know how to play with this team. I don't understand it. So in all future games after this, we end up going back to only playing as the player. But the defense goes down early because the defense just isn't that strong. We're not playing our strongest lineup. We're still playing Adriano out on the left, which I'm starting to think that Jordi Alba is gone, and I actually need to check that. I'll probably check it in not the next episode, but the episode after that, because having Adriano to the left is not as helpful as Jordi Alba would have been, especially with having Aarons out on the left wing. It makes it very difficult to play with because he's not the paciest guy, and I kind of need somebody like that on my left. Every time new players, or better players I should say, come into the lineup, I always end up playing well. And here in the second half, we actually managed to level it at 2-2 with a cross from Lionel Messi onto the head of Alex Song. It was disappointing to not get the goal in the first half. Instead, Aarons ended up scoring it. He obviously was the one who was able to keep his place in the team, and Messi ends up going down in the 70th minute to give us a penalty opportunity that Suarez is going to take. At halftime, Messi and Suarez had both come in for myself and Vidal, which was a little disappointing, but I knew it was definitely the right move to give us the best opportunity to score goals. And here we managed to actually come back and take the lead in the 71st minute, giving us a 3-2 lead in this game. Really good to come back. The team was definitely playing resilient. This was probably the worst game we've had this season. We've conceded the most goals in this season, or this game rather, and here I don't know what I was trying to do with the ball. I was honestly trying to get the ball around him, but the defender ended up taking a step forward, and I wasn't able to pass it back. Instead, I ended up passing it straight to the striker, and he ends up scoring the goal, tying it back up at 3-3, and we actually end up drawing this game in the end. So really disappointing there to not move forward and do better, I guess, in terms of this team. We definitely had the skill to push forward. I think if I would have stayed in the game, we still would have managed to bring this game back to 3-3. Suarez definitely made an impact, but not too much of an impact. Obviously, he scored that penalty, but I could do the same. It's not that big of a deal. Here, very surprised that Messi put that wide. I genuinely thought I scored right there. In any situation I've ever played with Barcelona or Messi by himself, he always makes that a goal, and I maybe should have finessed it. Obviously, having that on his left foot, that should have been a goal every day of the week. It ended up not turning out that way, so a little disappointing to come away with this game with a 3-3 draw. Here, as you guys see, the player rating, I was playing well. 8 completed passes total, none failed. Didn't have any shots on target, didn't really get the chance, but I was playing the ball around, just trying to keep the team moving any way I could. But as I said, a little disappointing to pick up the draw, but we are still top of the table going into the Champions League. Obviously still not getting into the squad because Suarez is in the team, so they end up going out with Messi on the bench and going against PSV away from home. So this was definitely a big game for our group. We definitely needed to get the results to make sure that we stay on top, at least in those top 2 placements, obviously, for the table, to ensure that we do move forward in the Champions League. So a little disappointing result there, ending the game in a 0-0 draw, and there was also a red card at the end of the game, so that's going to make their lives a little more difficult in the next game. But coming up against Real Sociedad, we managed to grab the starting role again. As I said, we're back to playing with just a player. I didn't like playing with the entire squad. Playing with this weak Barcelona squad, it doesn't feel right. It really does feel like we're playing with the Barca B team, which at the end of the day maybe is where I should have been this whole time, but like still, if we're going to be playing in the top flight of Spanish football, we should be getting our full squad and playing the strongest team we can week in, week out. And I'm starting to think that's maybe why you always see in career modes Barcelona and Real Madrid kind of slip up in seasons, and these other teams are actually able to come out and put up good results, is because they never play their strongest teams, and it's incredibly frustrating. In this game, again, we have Vidal on the right and I believe Aaron's on the left. Here in the next couple episodes, I believe we actually start getting stronger lineups. And every time, like I said earlier in this episode, every time I get a stronger lineup, I play so much better. And we managed to get a good opportunity here with Aaron's. He's just not able to put it on target. You know, if Neymar would have stayed with this club, and good for him for leaving, because I don't know if he would have actually been able to get gameplay time the way the manager's been playing this lineup. But if he would have been in this team, I think we could have done really big things. But, you know, it is nice, I guess, that I did get the number 11 jersey, so you can't argue there. But we get another opportunity here, but the pass was just a little too far out of my range, and they were just able to go ahead and clean that up and give us a corner opportunity. Here the ball just falls favorably to me on the outside of the box, and I try to work my way back in any way I can, just trying to work my way through the defense and put it on my left foot, but didn't end up working out that way for me, so the ball ends up going out, and we get one more opportunity here before the end of the half, but it doesn't really turn into too much because there just wasn't enough time for us to really put anything out for the team. So we go into the second half at a 0-0 draw. A little disappointing, but I knew the team was playing well enough for us to score a goal. We were definitely getting the ball around the way we needed to. I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable in what my role is in this team and where to be. There's still some opportunities that I am missing because I'm not in the right position, because I'm trying to do too much, and I definitely need to take a step back from that. But as you guys may have seen in that pause screen, we are up to 81 rated because of the stat increase that we got at the start of the game. So really good there to see a stat increase. Because as you guys have maybe seen, the training sessions have been incredibly slow for us, which is why I'm leaving the majority of them out of the game, because we're just not progressing anymore through training. A lot of our progression is just going to start coming from doing attribute challenges, so we're definitely going to start focusing on that. In the next few episodes, we're definitely going to be putting all of our focus on making sure those attribute points go up as fast as possible, to make sure that we're progressing as much as possible. And I did want to mention, I saw a comment on the last episode that did say that I could retire with my player and become a manager because this manager is really bad, and I can assure you that I definitely will do that with this career mode. Obviously it's going to be really far down the road, but obviously, you know, you only have a 15-year window to do a career mode in, so it'll probably be in the 8th or 9th season that I end up retiring and just kind of seeing what I can do with a manager career mode as my player. I've only done that like once in the past, but it's definitely something that interests me, and I'll definitely try to do with SEUNGWOO. If not with SEUNGWOO, it'll definitely be with another career mode that I will be doing in the future. But here in the 81st minute, coming to the end of the game, we actually get tackled in the box, and I'm thinking, okay, Messi just came in the game. I'm not going to be able to take this penalty, so I was actually kind of irritated that I got taken down in the box because I wanted that goal. I need my stats to go up because we have not been scoring enough goals this season. It was an ugly tackle. Really surprised that they only managed to get away with a yellow card, but I was actually on the penalty spot, which was really exciting for me, and I definitely had to take advantage. So that is my first goal from the penalty spot, which I do get that penalty increase for that. So hopefully, you know, that means the manager does trust me with this. Obviously, if it really comes down to a crunch time, I think Messi is obviously going to be the #1 guy, but it is nice to see that even in the 82nd minute of a game against a top half team, that he still trusts me to be the penalty spot taker. So managed to grab that late goal, and as this game comes to the end, we do manage to get out with a 1-0 victory. So the team's still been playing really well. I think we have the most clean sheets in the league. We definitely have the most we have the best defensive record in the league. A little worrying here, the passing that ended up going on in the last couple minutes of this game, but we managed to survive barely. But to be at the top of the league is nice, especially with my stuttering performances. We're definitely trying to get better every game. It is just really difficult trying to be a phenomenal player, a top tier player in a superstar squad that has been stunted by the manager's decisions to play less strong players. So the more star players I get around me, obviously the better I will be playing. Here against Malaga in the Cup, we actually end up getting sat out, which is understandable. This game was just a few days afterwards. So Suarez ends up starting, Messi ends up on the bench again. We end up winning 2-1. So moving on into the Levante game, definitely wanted to put in another good performance. Same lineup as usual, nothing too special. Again, the more players I get, the better it's going to be. This first half, incredibly boring, nothing going on. Really disappointing to not have any highlights from that first half, but as this first half comes to a close, it is 0-0 at this point, and it is going to end that way. So going into the second half, definitely want to make sure that we put in the performance to make sure that we can grab a goal, but substitutions do come in. Turan comes in for Aarons on that left side, and I'm really hoping that in the window that is coming up in the next couple episodes, we manage to, one, bring in a center back to even more strengthen that defense, and then also to bring in a left wing that can play a little bit more regularly and stronger than we're able to have right now with Aarons. Aarons is a good player, but he's just not Barcelona level. The way he plays, his play style just doesn't work out for me or the rest of the team, in my opinion. So hopefully we do bring in a player that has a little bit more energy, so I'm not the only player running all over the field. But here in the 72nd minute, we actually managed to get taken down in the box here, but ends up going out for a corner, which was a little disappointing. I think we definitely could have gotten more out of that, but I crossed this ball into the box just kind of out of random, and every single player in the box, I think, managed to touch this, and then the defender ends up scuffing his boot on the ground. It doesn't end up getting a touch on it. Then the keeper shoves him into the ball, and they end up getting an own goal. So no clue. I think it hit like 3 of our players, so nobody got credit for it, obviously, and then it ends up going off of the defender, so it ends up being an own goal. And then here in the 77th minute, we break away with one of our, I think that was Roberto, and then I take a shot, ends up getting deflected, and Sergio Busquets, who ended up coming into this game, manages to grab himself a goal as well. So like I said, it doesn't mean superstar players coming into this game doesn't mean that they're directly going to affect me, but it definitely changes the morale of the entire squad, and I think as a whole we play better that way. I end up coming out in the 78th minute, and that is going to be the end of this episode. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.